Rahm Emanuel, former White House chief of staff and holder of other significant positions as a Democrat, gave an interview to Megyn Kelly just the other day, and she asked a series of questions about trans people. He ended up contradicting most Democratic Party orthodoxy about trans people, ended up by agreeing with the idea that a man cannot become a woman, and then said he was going to head for the witness protection program because he was aware that some Democrats would be unhappy. What's your approach to that, and how would you try to appeal to people who disagree with you about it?
Well, I think the approach starts with compassion. Compassion for transgender people, compassion for families, especially young people who are going through this, and also empathy for people who are not sure what all of this means for them, like wondering, wait a minute, I got a daughter in a sports league. Is she going to be competing with boys right now? Right, and just taking everybody seriously. And I think when you do that, that does call into question some of the past orthodoxies in my party, for example, around sports, where I think most reasonable people would recognize that there are serious fairness issues if you just treat this as not mattering when a trans athlete wants to compete in women's sports.
In this interview with NPR, former Transportation Secretary and ex-South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg stated the following on trans people in sports.
Meaning the parent who's complained about this has a case, in your opinion.
Sure. And that's why I think these decisions should be in the hands of sports leagues and school boards and not politicians, least of all politicians in Washington trying to use this as a political pawn.
When President Trump says something like no boys and girls sports, which is a phrase that they use, it sounds like you're not signing on to that.
I think that chess is different from weightlifting, and weightlifting is different from volleyball, and middle school is different from the Olympics. So that's exactly why I think that we shouldn't be grandstanding on this as politicians. We should be empowering communities and organizations and schools to make the right decisions.
While this is the PC answer to so many in society, it's disappointing to tons as well. It reminded some of this.
So like you right now should come out and be like, you know what? The young man who's about to win the state championship in the long jump in female sports,
right.
that shouldn't happen. You as the governor should step out say no.
No, and I appreciate.
But like, would you do something like that? Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. It is an issue of fairness.
So
it's deeply unfair.
Would you speak out against this young man, A.B. Hernandez, who right now is going to win the state championship in the long jump? I can see you wrestling with it.
No, I'm not wrestling. I'm not wrestling with the fairness issue. I totally agree with you. By the way, as someone with 4 kids, I think
and two daughters, right?
2 daughters.
And I have a daughter too.
And a wife that went, God forbid, to Stanford and played on the junior national soccer team, and a guy who got into college only because I was left-handed and could throw a baseball a little bit or hit the ball for a little bit. So I revere sports. And so the issue of fairness is completely legit. And I saw that the last couple of years. Boy, did I saw how you guys were able to weaponize that issue at another level.
Not weaponize. That's
well, weaponize may be pejorative. You're right. But you were able to
shine a light on,
highlight it in a way that, frankly, there are not that many out. We're talking about, I think, NC2A, 510,000? There's also a humility and a grace, that these poor people are more likely to commit suicide, have anxiety and depression. And the way that people talk down to vulnerable communities is an issue that I have a hard time with as well. So both things I can hold in my hand, but how profound, and even my own friend cohort, people saying, the hell is going on? Mm-hmm. Why aren't you calling this out? When did this happen? So in 2014, years before I was governor, there was a law established the legal principles that allow trans athletes in women's sports. But the issue of fairness is completely legit.
When Gavin Newsom would discuss the subject and even admit in this podcast session that his son loves him some Charlie Kirk. Loves. Now, the attacks were quite constant. NPR reported Trump's campaign during election season dropped at a minimum $17 million on advertisements attacking trans people. Ad Impact would compile the data and reported the ads were seen more than 30,000 times, including the airing of said attacks during college football and NFL broadcasts. But keep politics out of sports, right?
I think like the whole thing with trans folks is very instructive for me. The polling that says that this decided the election in America is limited. It's not clear. They blame not just trans folks, they blame, I don't even know how many people there are like this, but some number of trans women who are in sports, like people pass laws in states against this. I am not exaggerating. And then I asked, is this actually happening in your state? And they can't name anybody.
And yet they appear to be a flop. This did not decide the election. Ground Media's study reveals that the ad failed to achieve its political goals. The study would compare responses of those who saw the Trump ad to those who saw an unrelated ad, and revealed that the Trump ad yielded no statistically significant shift in voter choice, mobilization, or likelihood to vote.
So, Miss Goss-Graves, I want to play a game. It's called Trump or Trans. You ready?
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me whether or not it is Trump or trans people that are responsible. You understand?
Got it.
Okay, very good. The first one, gutted medical research.
Trump.
Kidnapping Americans and sending them to foreign countries, a.k.a. deporting them.
Trump.
Driving us into a recession.
Trump.
Increasing the cost of everything.
Trump.
Waging an idiotic tariff war.
Trump.
Harming farmers.
Trump.
Ignoring the Constitution.
Trump.
Proposing to take away Social Security.
Trump.
Cutting health care.
Trump.
Firing government workers who keep our country safe.
Trump.
Encouraging an environment of hate and divisiveness.
Trump.
Thank you so much.
David Rochkine, CEO of Ground Media, told GLAAD, what this demonstrates is that attacking the trans community is not just a weak and feckless political strategy, it's a deeply cynical one. These ads weaponize trans identity to sow fear and division, making our country less safe for everyone. And yet they keep talking about it. It made Riley Gaines into an alt-right superstar. They have continued talking about this, and Fox News has continued pushing this agenda, and it's rammed down our throats. After Newsom's debacle with Kirk, a line from Dave Ziburn's article could read just as accurately after the Buttigieg interview. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, stands for nothing besides his own political career. The pro-trans and everything but sports position can metastasize into not just a broader anti-trans science, the forcible erasure of transgender people from society, but also line up behind Trump as the savior of girls from the trans hordes. In another paragraph, Ziburn wrote, the GOP's view on trans people is eliminationist and exterminationist, and it has discovered over the last 5 years that sports is an effective way to advance its position. These bans were never an issue until Republican operatives made it one. It's not about fairness, it's about the Republican Party feeding off hate. The GOP requires constant scapegoats to distract the public from its attempt to rob the country dry. He concludes, our task is to break free from Newsom's abhorrent framing, containing trans exclusionary policies to sports as a fantasy, and the unfair advantages, while they make more sense to people, the more the assertions go unchallenged, are scientifically fallacious, though I know science is not in vogue right now, deeply caricatural, and widely misunderstood. We are also seeing the voluntary compliance of organizations like the NC2A changing their once lauded inclusive guidelines to acquiesce to the Trump admin. This is a new attack over time where Republicans and conservatives always find a way to target a marginalized group in order for the infighting to continue and for us to not blame a majority of our problems on the out and about corruption and how the top 1% infiltrates our politics. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.